In Hosea 4:6, it says that my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And because they have rejected knowledge, I will reject you from being a priest to me. In other words, God is saying that his people reject knowledge. They cast it away. So therefore, they will be subjected to being rejected by him. I say that because in today's world, in the black community, there is an epidemic of ignorance. Yes, an epidemic of ignorance. And it starts by sending our children to these failing schools. It starts by allowing the TV, social media, the culture to babysit, influence, and tutor our children into a lifestyle that leads to destruction. And you know who profits off of this? The black bougie elites. Yeah, the black elites. The ones that have the money, the ones that know the ins and the outs of what can turn black people on their side, what can motivate black people to do the bidding of the white liberal puppet masters. Yeah, those black elites. The latest example is Taraji P Henson at the BET Music Awards. Now, this woman is flat out lying when she says this.
Did you know that it is now a crime to be homeless?
First of all, no one is arresting people for being homeless. Let's set the record straight. There was a ruling by the Supreme Court that said that cities can ban people from sleeping outside. No one is arresting anybody for being homeless, number one. And number two, when you have to understand something, these people are so seductive and deceptive in their use of words and terminology. There is no such thing as reproductive rights. No such thing as reproductive rights. First of all, our rights come from God. We live in a constitutional republic. We do not live in a democracy. That is a lie. But because so many black people get their news from social media, get their news from CNN, get their news from BET, get their news from MSNBC, they don't understand basic civics. We live in a constitutional republic. We are a republic. Each state is its own entity and they come together to form a union. That's how America is formed. But because the black bougie elite know this, or they are uninformed themselves, or just getting their marching orders from their liberal puppet masters, they continue to propagate these falsehoods, these lies to the black community so black people can continue to vote for the Democratic Party. It's all a vicious cycle and nothing ever changes in the community. But these black bougie elites profit out that. They profit off of black ignorance. They really do. Because they profit off the ability to say that I am the smart one. I can speak on behalf of these ignorant black folks. That's how they profit off things. And it's sad because it's not just these celebrities. Pastors fall into this category as well. They are the church plants, as I call them. They also profit off of black ignorance. Because black people, unfortunately, we as a people have been dumbed down so much. We have been dumbed down because we have allowed the culture, we have allowed entertainment, we have allowed the media to dictate how we should live. We in the black culture, we are the ones that look down upon people that are intelligent in our culture. We in the black culture, we're the one that look down upon people who wants to live a life that's pleasing to God. We in the black culture, we're the ones that look down upon men that want to stay home and take care of their families. We in the black culture, we're the ones that look down upon women that want to stay home and raise their families in the fear and admonition of the Lord. We in the black community do that. And the black bougie elite profit off that. They know that they can keep black people being ignorant. They will continue to be the useful idiots. Another example, Steve Harvey.
Well, that's good because you might as well be able to get a small business loan because you can be president too with a criminal record. So that's a nice exchange. Ain't that about a...
Yeah.
You know, look, I've been reading this paper because I got to stay to the... I got a headache trying to stay on course, so just let me go off this paper for a minute. Before y'all start calling my radio show and DMing me, talking about why you ain't asked no hard-hitting questions, that ain't what this is. I'm throwing a lob. This is an alley-oop for a dunk because this administration needs to get the word out of what they're actually doing and what they're actually accomplishing so we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people. Can't nobody come out with no agenda and call it this for black people and expect to get in the White House. You got to play the game different. Y'all know what this is. So now this next question is another lob for her to dunk. Because they done a lot, man. But we see, I'm on this radio show and I'm hearing all these people talking about, I'm not voting if they not doing nothing for us. Listen to me. If you do not vote, the analytics will show. They know how many women vote, they know the age you are when you vote. If we don't vote, how we gonna ask for something next time? If you ain't got no voting power, you talking about reparations. Ain't nobody finna give you no reparations and you don't vote. Oh, why you think they finna give us some money? No how, man. I hope they do. They owe us. I'll go down there. I'm sorry.
And you see, that's the trick that the Democrats, the liberals, the Marxists, and the communists have played on black people. They have convinced black people that your only power in America comes from voting. It doesn't come from you actually forming families, building communities, living lives that are pleasing to God, living lives that reflect the biblical order, establishing, and see, they don't tell you that is how black people achieved. When black people didn't have voting power, how was it that we had these communities that were thriving? When there was no voting power after Reconstruction and during Jim Crow, how was it that black people were thriving when they didn't have voting power? See, that's the trick that these black bougie elites play with you. You saw Kamala Harris was laughing at that. Of course they're not going to give black people reparations. They're not going to give you reparations. Why would they? Because they have your vote. You're in their back pocket. They're not going to do anything for you because they don't have to. Because you're so ignorant in their minds. You're dumb and you're stupid. They depend on your ignorance. They profit off of your ignorance. And the black bougie elite definitely profits off of your ignorance. They make money off of your ignorance. Look at all the shows. Why do you think Tyler Perry makes all these shows that highlight the worst of the black community? Why do you think he makes these shows that promote all kind of sin and debauchery and mess? Why does he? Because it profits him. That's the only reason he does it. And you'll see people like him, people like Steve Harvey, people like Taraji P Henson, when they know, I don't even think they know. I think they really are ignorant themselves. But they profit more for your ignorance because they are less ignorant than you. They know how the game is played. They know how their bread is buttered by the liberal puppet masters. And so they will tap dance for them whenever they need to. That's why they sit up here and tell you these lies about reproductive justice when they know that abortion is the number one killer in the black community. That the percentage of black Americans in America has remained stagnant for the last 50 years. They know that. Or the sad part about it is they don't know that, but the liberal puppet masters know that. They know to keep black people in their place. So what do? They give these why don't they talk about reproductive justice to other ethnicities? I don't hear them talking about reproductive justice to these migrants coming over illegally. I don't see them having Planned Parenthoods and facilities down at the border. I don't see them rushing these migrants to Planned Parenthood facilities in Chicago and New York and places like that. But nah, they'll put one in the middle of the black community and say it's there for reproductive justice. They depend on your ignorance, black people. And as the most spiritual people in America, it is a shame that we have allowed ourselves to be so dumbed down because of political power and because we want to be relevant to the culture. We have become deaf to the Spirit of God, deaf to God telling us to come up higher. These people only want us to be perpetual victims. We're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.